Hello everyone, Ryan here. The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Chbosky. This is another book I read during the month of April, and I'm glad I was finally able to read it because I've been a fan of the movie adaptation for quite some time. I own a copy of the movie. I've seen it well over a dozen times. I like the entire cast in it, everyone's performances, so it was kind of interesting reading the novel because, I couldn't help but just picture the same cast, from the movie while reading the novel. And but as far as like the writing style is concerned, I do like that it's in journal format, and I like that Chbosky chose to go with a more clean style of prose, just like direct and to the point. Like, he didn't bother to like insert a lot of like epic details or flowery fancy language, or I like that. I feel like if a writer or author, I feel like, if they want to just say that a character is pissed off, I feel like they should just be able to just write that out. Just write out, so and so was pissed off, and then leave it at that. But I guess that's more of a personal taste choice. And I was also able to really relate to Charlie, the main character, protagonist. In a lot of ways, he reminded me of myself as a teenager. And in other ways too, he reminds me of myself now as an adult. And but it's definitely, I consider him to be one of the most interesting teenage protagonists that I've come across. And in some ways, like, it kind of reminded, like I would say in the first half of the novel, he kind of reminded me of like Holden Caulfield from Catcher in the Rye. Which, by the way, if you haven't read Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, I do believe everyone should read it at least once. But I know, like, not everybody likes that, so I recently read that and reviewed it too. I'll provide a link to that if you want to check that out. Of course, Holden Caulfield, I feel like, was much more, a little more extroverted, whereas Charlie is much more introverted. Charlie is much more of a deep thinking kind of person. And that's pretty much how I am. Not just when I was a teenager, but I think pretty much for most of my life, even now. So I consider myself to be a proud introvert. And, I don't know, it's just, I feel like, could easily, erase the name Charlie throughout this entire novel and insert my name, Ryan. And then boom, it'd be my life story. Or no, it'd probably be more like how I would want my life story to look like or read like. And and of course, during the beginning, I know that Charlie has a tough time dealing with the suicide of his friend Michael, and because it definitely does seem like that affects him a lot, and it affects his ability to open up to people. I mean, how could it not? How can something like that not affect anyone, any human being? It's, but then I like that eventually, he does make friends and, becomes friends with Patrick and Sam. I really like those characters too. I like them in the movie as well, but even a little more in the novel. And because I feel like in the novel there's so much more, they come off as much more well-rounded and complex, and not that they don't in the movie, it's just in the movie it's more like, you don't really get a complete understanding of who they are. In the novel, it's definitely there. I liked being able to learn a lot more about them. In fact, I think I liked all the characters, even the ones like the annoying ones, like Mary Elizabeth, and because she comes off as I guess she's supposed to be like the bossy one of the group, and even though she's supposed to be a Buddhist, and which, by the way, in the movie, the character Mary Elizabeth, I think she's pretty much exactly the same in the movie. Yeah, I mean, with only maybe like one or two minor differences. So, I mean, because I was able to notice right away that there's, some things that weren't in the movie, which I felt that could have been in the movie, but other things too that were left out, which kind of made sense to me. I mean, such as in the novel, the different things about Charlie's sister and brother. I mean, the whole thing with her sister, she ends up dating this abusive guy. That was left out of the movie. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't remember anything like that. Well, I mean, okay, no, except for one part. There's a part in the movie where they do show her getting hit by her boyfriend. But that's the extent of that whole thing as far as his sister is concerned. And in a novel, it goes into much more detail. And so I like that, I mean, in addition to learning more about the other characters, I also really appreciated learning more about Charlie's brother and sister, and also his parents too. Because of course in the movie, that's another thing too. In the movie, there's not a lot of information given about Charlie's parents, but in the novel, yes, definitely get a much more thorough understanding of his parents, and I like that. I'd say ultimately, I was originally, I was going to give this 4 stars, or 4.5, but after really thinking about it and excuse me there. After really thinking about it and analyzing different aspects of the novel, I gotta give it 5 stars. Yeah. I mean, I will say I don't like the ending, but I guess ultimately it works. Again, the ending, I would say, is also to me it's similar to the ending of The Catcher in the Rye, because in The Catcher in the Rye, I also don't like the ending. Just like how it, because nothing is really wrapped up. Same, I feel like it's the same thing in this, and The Perks of Being a Wallflower. The ending doesn't really seem to resolve anything. It's just more like it leaves everything open, and but I mean, at least it's realistic. It's I feel, or at least somewhat realistic. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I really enjoyed this novel. I mean, I definitely see myself rereading it and coming back to it many times. I hope to purchase my own copy of it, because I checked out a copy from my local library, but yeah, I definitely want to get my own copy of it so I can reread it and just analyze it a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, you know, if you've read this too, let me know. What are your thoughts on it? You know, and I was like, so I also like that, you know, I guess just, you know, I mean, again, the characters, I like the characters, you know, it's just so relatable, ultimately relatable. I mean, for me, but I kind of feel like this could be relatable to a lot of people, not just teenagers, but, you know, adults too. And so, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. You know, maybe later on I'll review the movie at some point, because I gotta, even though I've seen the movie so many times, it's been a while since the last time I saw it. So, so yeah, that'll do it for my review of The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Once again, I give 5 stars. Yeah. So that'll do it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. As always, until next time, don't forget, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.